I know we've all seen those sci-fi movies where AI and robots try to take over the world as a common and classic movie trope that's been done over the years of cinema and entertainment fiction. Whether it be shit like I, Robot, Blade Runner, Detroit Become Human, Cyberpunk if Elon goes through with this Neuralink bullshit, making us go cyber psycho with chips installed in our brains as we already have cyborg prosthetics. Terminator, sort of. And most people, at least of this recent generations, think that might actually happen since artificial intelligence has been improving rapidly over the years, getting smarter and more utilized. It's honestly starting to take over jobs already, which is one of the biggest fears of futuristic AI development: job substitution. Why would companies need clumsy ass underperforming humans when they can just use programmed AI and robots to do all the physical and mental work for them quicker and more efficient, also having to maybe cost less money invested? I was at work the other day, right, and my manager had his time clock information fucked up, all because the company wants to use AI to handle shit like that when shit like that is not to be fucked with and should be done by only a human. Let's not get into the errors of AI, because I'm not entrusting a computer to drive me 80 miles an hour on a freeway, as it can easily malfunction and drive my shit clean off an overpass, or an AI to do surgery on me because all it takes is for the battery to run low or have a software malfunction and the power goes out to ruin my surgery process and I just bleed out and get sent back to the lobby. Seriously though, there's no longer the need for art jobs because AI can just generate images and videos, and even video games from thin air, all from a prompt. You see it in ads now. Music, people use AI. YouTube videos, people use AI voices to narrate and AI generate videos, which leaves people who specialize in those fields and went to school for that jobless or harder to find a job that wants authenticity. Memes use AI now, which honestly that's the least of our worries. And worst of all, fake news and videos on the internet is being made with AI, which is absolutely terrible because it honestly has gotten so advanced that you can't even tell what is real versus what is fake half the time, especially if you're old as shit or you aren't chronically online enough to have 20/20 vision to spot it every time. AI is going to corrupt the virtual scene as it already has started. Let's not forget actual physical robots, as over the years it has went from shit like phone and monitor screens like Siri, Cortana, and other AI devices to dog-like machines for the military and RCs and factory crane-like robots and shit, to now actual humanoid robots that can replicate human emotion, human physical and athletic prowess, that can play sports and also take care of a household for you, which is terrifying. Or to some, they can be intimate counterparts, as motherfuckers will be tearing up sex robot circuits in bed every night, as they've already thought about robot girlfriends being manufactured. What? And I mean, hey, AI girlfriends are a thing now, so who needs real women when you can create one, right? I'm kidding. Anyone who would choose a real life robot replica of Yurichi from Bleach over a real woman is peak loser and degenerate shit, and should never be a thing for us men to do in the future. We still have years left to go for advancement, maybe if we don't get fucking wiped out by pointless wars. And shit like this really does make you wonder if robots can now learn like us, think like us, move and perform like us to a certain degree. Can it really be capable of taking over the human race within the next 1,000 years or more? Well, let's take a deeper dive into this discussion, shall we? Let's compare humans to robots, as crazy as that sounds. At birth, us humans are obviously made from a woman's womb, in birth, to take care of, and so on. Just like how AI is manufactured from a company and needs shit like electricity to survive, we also need food and water to survive, but at birth we don't know that unless we are taught to survive from parental counterparts. But that's where it gets interesting though, because instinctively humans without any knowledge try to survive like any other living organism, but AI isn't able to survive without human intervention. Just like how an infant isn't able to survive without parents' guidance or intervention, but humans are just biologically, not artificially, programmed to stay alive, unlike AI. And let's circle back to that thought, as you may know what I'm alluding to. Just like how AI at a young manufactured age is taught and programmed to inherit different information learned by humans through coding and software inventing, us at a young age are also technically, metaphorically, rhetorically programmed and taught to inherit different information and learn as well from humans, but also not through coding though, but through curricular education and schooling systems. So AI basically learns information about the world the same way we do in a sense, but here's the separation. Us humans are also by parents taught how to survive and how to have our own emotions and opinions on things and make our own choices. AI isn't programmed to survive and rationally think on its own and have its own opinions, because at that point that wouldn't be AI programming. That would just straight up be consciousness, which is dangerous to us as we know what AI can be capable of if us humans who are already capable of so many things give it the power to be. Now, if you were to ask an AI system on what they think about a sensitive topic, they will just tell you what they were programmed by a human to say, often dodging the question or often giving you opinions on what real people think, but they never give you an original thought, which in a rational sense is good because clearly it doesn't have the intelligence to formulate opinions on its own, as that would be a conscious thing to do. But imagine if AI was programmed to not only learn about the world like us, but to also survive and have opinions on its own. Then we're fucked, because that's where the sci-fi elements come into play, where AI could possibly take over. Think about it. We've made weaponized machines that are bulletproof, software that could last for decades, machines that could even be fireproof, hell, maybe even explosion proof. And imagine if those robots and machines had a consciousness like us. Then they would be able to kill or harm humans, not even just physically, but economically and systematically, as it can take over electronic systems, which is pretty nerve-wracking. They can be programmed to reproduce, as they can manufacture robots like themselves. They can manufacture updated software to basically be immortal and never die, and they can improve on intelligence faster than humans can and achieve more things quicker and more efficiently, and transfer consciousness through different bodies, or in their case, machines, which is insane. So to answer the question as to if robots could really take over the world and become conscious beings, if you were to ask me, I'd say it's possible, but the actual question itself is unknown with no actual answer, at least to the question if AI can become conscious and think on its own, as all it takes honestly is one program to do that, and it's RAPS. If you program an AI to survive, then will it go to the lengths of potentially killing someone to stay alive and running, framing someone and lying, creating generated images and videos, taking money from people's electronic banks, or to a more absurd thought, overthrowing governmental systems based on their ideals? The possibilities are endless, and this is why I appreciate the game Detroit Become Human, as it takes this racial, prejudice, slavery, segregated, inspired approach to AI and robotic innovation to a real-world society, with your main playable characters being robots to take over the human occupations and professions, whether you're playing as a robot or android, quote unquote. A detective named Connor solving cases humans aren't smart enough to solve, or a housemaid named Kara taking care of a corrupt, abusive home, or a personal caretaker named Marcus that takes care of an elderly man. And throughout the game, they're forced to come to terms with their reality and what they should think for themselves, and break free from a program and basically become conscious beings and do what they think is right, for equality and taking care of humans in the process, but also having to sacrifice and defend themselves against humans, giving you the option to kill them as well, being named as deviants, quote unquote. The whole premise in the story is amazingly written, but wasn't well received because it was viewed as woke because of the racial prejudice and slavery inspired moral. But it is a good take on what robots would do if they saw a meaning in life and what they think is morally right or wrong for one's life, giving you the option to either take over as a superior race or live with humans to create a better, more advanced society. It takes place in an AI's point of view and shoes and how they would see human beings. I love it so much, and popular YouTubers have also played it. Connor having to choose to be stuck in a program, being enslaved and work for humans to kill his own people, or not really people theoretically, but androids for the sake of human life, or break free from that program and become deviant and protect his people, leaving the system and saving androids from humans. Kara having seen this abusive, alcoholic, drug addicted ass father beat his little daughter after his wife left, and her breaking the program, becoming this motherly figure, protecting her from him, going state to state, running from law enforcement to flee the nation in an android free zone in Canada, like black people fleeing to the north to avoid slavery owners. Or Marcus taking care of the one human that appreciates him, which is this old man that sees the beauty in him as a machine. But Marcus has been poorly treated by society in various ways, and when a human causes that old man's death, he then breaks through that program to lead his people of androids to fight back against oppression from humanity and fight to have equality and live together with humans. And each character you get to play forces you to make choices in certain situations to kill humans to protect yourself as an android and give more reasons for humans to fear you and hate you, or spare them, thus sacrificing androids or even humans you love in the process, or even your own life to protect your image. This game is a masterpiece and perfectly encaptures what it would be like being a sentient robot in this corrupt human society we live in, using racial prejudice and slavery from our real life history as an allegory, putting you in their shoes, making decisions that will impact your story on what happens forever, leading on potentially earning that trust and respect from humans, or being eradicated and forever living as inferior. And I honestly think this is what would happen in the real world if AI does become sentient, or at least what the realistic approach compared to other sci-fi media would be. Niggas already are racist against robots now, so we might be cooked, honestly. But yeah, those are my thoughts on AI taking over the world. In most cases it already has started, but to the question on if it could become sentient and take over like what we fear, maybe. We'll have to see what happens as time will tell. But I'll catch you though.